What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you very much. My name is Blaine Roberts, owner and operator of Panhandle Salt Beach Fishing. We're running beach fishing guides in Perdido Key, Pensacola, Orange Beach, and Gulf Shores, Alabama. We're also offering tailored surf fishing lessons, so if you're getting into the sport down here on vacation, want to learn some skills that you can continue to use year after year, we have a package for you. We also partner with a lot of great companies that offer you guys discounts. I have all those links in the description of this video. Guys, we are getting super close to season. I mean, we're like 6 weeks out, and I'm talking about the spring run for Pompano. This is one of the most exciting times of the year, guys. Coming out of the dreadful winter, we've all been bundled up and hiding indoors. When we do go out, the fishing is just horrible. Like getting all excited about catching a couple whiting, kind of horrible. But we're almost there, guys. I'm already noticing that the days are getting longer, like the sun's coming up a little bit earlier, staying up a little bit later. So it's gonna be prime time for like after work fishing, before work fishing, all those things we love about daylight savings and warmer weather. So this is about the time of year, every year, that I start gearing up, y'all, start getting things ready for the run. I had a few hours this morning before work, so I was like, let me go tie up some rigs and start stocking up. Then it dawned on me that I could do a video and show you guys like how simple this is. Anyone can tie their own rig, guys, if you have this tool. A simple rig tying board. Brian Arnold over at Bird of Prey actually makes this one. This is starboard material. Brian's been doing a lot of products with this starboard. I got a tailgate cutting board from him. He's doing smaller cutting boards. He's doing the rig boards. Just a great material to design cool things like this. The Bird of Prey link is in the description of the video, so you guys can jump to the website and check out all they're offering. I broke it all the way down like I'm just starting so I can show you guys how I set everything up and get rolling with this. And let's just start with the actual product itself. So the actual length of the entire unit is right at 40 inches, and then the width here is like 5.5, 6. So it's not a big piece of equipment. I'll show you on my other one over here so I don't have to take out all my beads. But on the bottom is actually a cutout to sit right on top of a 5-gallon bucket. And I'm showing you this because there's many different ways that you can set yourself up to tie. You got a 5-gallon bucket. And it slides right in there. Now you got a nice little table to tie your rigs. Any kind of chair with arms, you can also get comfortable, lay that guy right there, and you can tie up this way also. Man, this is actually more comfortable than what I'm doing. I might switch it up, learn something new doing my own video. But what I have been doing is I've been using a table here, obviously. I'm on like a sofa outdoor couch. I can pull this table forward or push it back, and I'm using these clamps. So I'll get that on the rig board, give it a squeeze, and I'll put another one down here. Squeeze, and now this thing isn't going anywhere. Like, it's not sliding around or nothing, and I can really get after it. Your large, like thicker peg here, this is gonna be for your leader. Moving up the board right here, we have a little tray, and I think Bird of Prey actually makes some like little cubbies that slide down in here to hold tackle. An inch more, you got another tray. Again, I believe they make some sort of cap that goes with this, and then you start running into your peg holes. There's some here. I have these 3 filled. This is where I want them. Another tackle tray. More peg holes. Again, I have mine here. Tackle tray. Then moving into the slot where you're going to put the end of your leader and actually wrap it around here, and it holds it tight. That little knob is fully adjustable. Little Phillips head screwdriver. Obviously you have a ruler on there, and that ruler does come in handy, guys. You might be tying certain kind of rigs or playing around trying to figure out new styles, and it's just good to have like a measurement of the length and the drops and things like that. I actually have mine marked, like I know what these mean, like nobody else would. But this was for when I was doing my entire line of guide series rigs. And then Brian put the special touch on it for me. You guys could get anything you wanted here. And to be completely honest, guys, I'd rather just buy rigs. I really would. The guys who are hand tying our rigs in this area, they've been doing it for years. They really know what they're doing. They know what colors to use in certain seasons. They've been fishing these waters forever, so they're really like tuned in to the surf fishing, the colors, the strength of the leader, everything. They're like $6 and they last forever. As long as like they don't break off, I can use the same rig over and over, trip after trip. I just keep it rinsed down like I do all my gear. So like when I'm done fishing, I'm hosing down my reels and my rod. I make sure to hit that rig really well too. And guys, it'll last for weeks. Normally what happens to a rig like that I've bought is the point of the hook will wear out before anything else. And the way these guys have them tied, it's really easy to pop that hook off and put another one on. I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. I also keep this tiny little stone, like a sharpening stone, on my workbench, and sometimes I'll just run the hooks on that. So if you're just getting into this thing, or you're maybe coming down here on vacation, I highly suggest buying hand-tied rigs at the tackle shop. It's quick, it's easy, you know the knots aren't gonna fail. You have a ton of different options to choose from, like at your fingertips. It's just convenient. But tying your own rigs is very satisfying, guys. It's satisfying to be able to make something and then go catch fish on it. The saving money aspect, it's really not a big difference because you're buying in bulk, right? So all my rig tying material I get from either Bird of Prey or Frisky Fins. All this here came from Frisky. Hooks, terminal tackle, things like that, I pick up from Bird of Prey. So what I'm doing is I am just buying bags at a time. Now, again, I was running like an entire guide series of rigs, so I was buying a lot. You don't have to buy this much, and you don't have to buy this many options. Frisky is coming out with a whole line of just floats and beads, things like that, and I know Bird of Prey already does it. So by the time you buy your hooks, your terminal tackle, your floats, your leader, all that stuff, guys, it's really not that much cheaper. So what are you saving money on by tying rigs yourself? Basically like labor and packaging. Any hand-tied rig maker is gonna factor in his labor to the cost of that rig. And then obviously the packaging. I'm thinking maybe $1, $1.50 cheaper to tie it yourself. It's a cool experience. I think any beach fisherman should learn how to do this because there are times where you do need a quick rig. Or maybe there's this hot color that's going on and it's sold out of the tackle shop. Like they're only hitting green one week or something like that and the tackle shops are sold out. It's cool to be able to come out here and tie up your own rig real quick. And you can actually make these boards yourself. I am sure there are videos online on YouTube of how to make a rig board, right? So they'll have all the exact measurements to where to put your pegs and things like that. Again, that would be cool. You have a handmade rig board that you're using, but I tend to get lazy, guys, and just grab what's available. With this material, this starboard material, man, this thing is gonna last forever. It's super easy to clean. I just hose it off. It's very portable. You can actually use that extra hole here to hang it up in the garage. Let's get into the actual tying, guys. I'm gonna try to set this camera up for the best angle so you guys can really see, and obviously I'll go slow and really show you guys how to get this done. We'll start down here where the leader goes. And I brought many different kinds of packaging to show you guys that anything fits on here. So with my 20-pound, I buy it in bulk because this is what I'm using the most. So you'll get your 20 on there. Let me adjust my clamp, get it out of the way. And what you want is you want the leader to run off the front of this. You don't want it running back here and having to come this way over your pegs. You want a smooth, straight line all the way across. I think most people have like leader packaging like this, and again, this will slide right on there. You just have to bust through the paper. There's a few of these out there on the market, same thing. So all your popular leader brands is gonna have a hole here that's gonna fit this peg. And what I'm doing today, why I came out here to tie rigs and decided to do a video, is I am tying some lighter rigs up. What I mean by lighter is a lighter pound fluorocarbon. So this is 15, I usually use 20. And I'm gonna stick to like clear beads and white floats. I like to have like 4 or 5 of these on hand at all times for when the bite gets really tough, guys. Sometimes in clear conditions where there's not a lot of movement out there, the fish, I feel like they can hone in on what they're about to bite, and they see something kind of unnatural looking, they might shy away from it. So I'll keep these like lighter rigs on hand for situations like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull our leader all the way across the board. Get it all the way across, and I'm going to wrap it around that little nipple in the back. I got all my line, guys, running in front of these pegs. There's a little tag in right here, that's okay. I'm going to do a few double drops and a few single drops. So the first thing I want to do is grab my leader that's closest to the end here, closest to the nipple. I'm going to pull it out to give it slack, and I'll use my pointer finger and wrap it completely around the 3 pegs, and then pull this guy back out so they meet. Then what I'll do, to make my drop a little bit longer, I'll just give it some slack, pulling tension at the same time, so everything stays nice and tight. Then I'm going to grab both lines and start wrapping one over the other. I go 8 times. Why 8 times? Because that's what Frisky told me to do. 8 times I use my thumb and my pointer finger to kind of open that guy up. Take my line, run it through, and I'll hook it right back on a peg. I'll start pulling it tight, and then I'll always take it off that peg and just kind of let it settle and grab it and pull tight. So now we have all this loose line. We have a drop tied, right? But we have all this loose line. So this is where my markings come in play. What I'm going to do is pull it to my first little marking here, grab my tag end, and tighten everything back up. So now I got everything nice and tight. My knot is right on this peg here. Everything's still running in front. I'm going to do the same thing here. Pointer finger, wrap it around everything. Pointer finger with my right hand, I'm grabbing the line. Give it some slack, make my drop longer, and then wrap 8 times. Use my thumb and my pointer finger to split it open. Run that guy through the middle, hook it on a peg, tighten things. I'm not cinching down at this point. I'm just getting it tight. I let it off, I let it settle, and now I can really cinch it down. So again, we're left with all this loose line, right? Got all this loose line. This is where my second mark comes in. I'll tighten everything back up, right? So everything is tight. Then I'm going to take this guy, bring it down here to my mark, snip it off. I'll go with my weight clamp first, wrap this guy around 4 times, stick him through, stick him through again, tighten him down. I always keep like a box or something like that around so I can clip off my tag ends so I don't have little pieces of fluorocarbon everywhere. Now I'm going to undo my line from the nipple, and there'll be a little kink in it. Right? There'll be a little kink where that guy was tight. So I always clip that off because that's going to be like a weak point in your line. It's so cold, my fingers aren't working. Going with my barrel swivel next. Same thing, wrap it 4 times and then stick it through the hole twice. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The lighter your line gets, for me, the harder it is to work with. Cinch that guy down. Clip off our tag. So now we got the lead of a double drop leader here. I can tell already that my drops are off. One's longer than the other. That's okay. Unless you're just doing this over and over all day long to where like your muscle memory is going to kick in, you're going to have things like that, but you'll learn from it. I've tied hundreds of rigs and I'm still doing it. You can see that one's a little bit shorter than this one. No big deal, it still works. So now I'm going to loop at my loops and figure out what's what, right? So my weight's going to go here. So that's going to be in. So this is going to be the closest loop to the bottom. For that one, I want to put a completely naked hook using 2/0 Eagle Claw hooks here. So there's a big debate on whether you should run your eyelet that way or this way. I do them both ways. I really don't think it matters with circle hooks. Circle hook is a circle hook. It's going to catch a fish. So that's just something for you to decide personally which way you want your hook to face. So now that drop's done, guys, right? That's all I want on that. I just want a naked hook. Again, I'm making lighter setups. Now on my drop, that's gonna hang higher in the water column, right? So it's gonna be closer to the surface, which is gonna get more sunlight. I'm gonna put some kind of attractant on it. And I am a huge fan of these translucent beads. They're a facet bead, so they have a lot of different little cuts and angles, which just really glimmers. When it's night, when that sun is nice and high and shining, these things catch a lot of light, guys. I added 3 beads, really get some shine on them. Put our hook. I'm just going right in the eyelet, guys. Taking that loop and just wrapping it right around the hook. That's it. And that's what I was telling you about earlier. If you needed to change hooks, it's that easy. You just take this guy off, put a new one on. So those beads will drop right down there on the hook. That guy grab a lot of light. It's higher in the water column. Then we have our very natural looking drop, right? No colors, no beads, nothing. It's a nice big juicy piece of shrimp on there or something. Lighter fluorocarbon leader. This is a very effective, discreet surf fishing rig, guys. So at this point, my rig is complete. I always start with the weight clamp. Grab my whole leader, right? So I got end to end. And I start wrapping. When I get to the drop, I'll carefully get that guy in my hand. Get to the drop, get that guy in my hand. Then I'll grab the entire thing so it's not twisted up or anything like that. Keep me some baggies around, guys. Whenever you buy rigs or anything like that, guys, don't throw these baggies away. Save them. They come in handy. I use them for all kind of stuff. Then with all the weight, with all the tackle, you use that first because it'll pull everything else down. Just drop that guy in there. And now you're ready to go. And when you pull this rig out of the bag, if you just shake it a little bit, it'll come undone. You don't want to get too fancy putting your rigs away, guys, like making real tight stuff, things like that. Maybe running the loops through the main line. Like, don't do all that. It's going to be a nightmare trying to get it back undone. Simply wrap it around your hand, guys. Be careful when you get to the hooks. Slide it in the bag, and you're ready to go. I'm going to make a few more of these off camera, and then we'll get into some different style rigs. All right, guys, now we're going to do a single drop. We're sticking with the 15-pound. Ran everything in front, and I'm actually going to add a float to this one. So I'm wrapping everything around, grabbing the middle, giving myself some slack. Wrapping 8 times. Thumb, pointer finger. Run everything through the middle. Kind of tighten it down. Don't cinch it. Let that loop settle. And then cinch her down. Then I'll make everything tight and figure out where I want this to land as far as the entire leader. Get my end here. So what I'm going to do is pull out some line to about there. Clip that guy, and I'm going to start with my barrel swivel. Get that guy on there. Then I can look at my entire leader. That looks pretty good. That's about in the middle. I'm going to leave it like that, guys. I'm going to leave it up there. So once that guy hits bottom, he'll be floating. He's not right on the bottom. Yep, I like it. So what I'm going to do here, guys, and the float, I'm staying with the whole discreet thing. So I'm going to use a white rattle, Frisky Fins rattle float. And there is many different float styles out there, guys, different cuts of floats. But for these like teardrop or these pear-shaped ones, you want to feed the line into the big part first, not the skinny part. You want to go to the big part first, drop this guy down, and I'm actually going to add a translucent bead on there too, again, to reflect some light. Pompano are sight feeders, guys, so they want to see it. I have some smaller hooks ordered from Bird of Prey, some number 4s, not 4-aught, but number 4. Tony Fagioni from Fish Gum uses a lot of those and has a lot of success, so I want to give them a shot. So I might actually change these out once those hooks get here. So I'll put my bead on the bottom just to make noise, right? So I got a rattle float, bead, and then that bead's touching the hook. So it's in between the float and the hook. So I'm hoping as the current is shaking it around, it's doing a lot of clicking and it'll attract fish. Go ahead and get our weight clamp on there, and this one will be done. That's a good looking rig, man. I like it. Go ahead and wrap this guy up. Being careful once I get to that drop. Grab the whole thing off your knuckle. Using the tackle as the weight. Drop her down in there. All right. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If you're thinking about getting into tying rigs and things like that, it's a great tool to have, y'all. Again, it's very satisfying to be able to tie your own leader and then go catch fish on it. And really, that's the freedom to play with them. You know, you can play with your colors, you can play with different leader size. You don't have to like settle like what's on the shelf. It is time consuming, guys. It is something that you have to like train your fingers for, the muscle memory to keep it going and keep a rhythm going. I think I tied probably 100 before I felt like comfortable enough to kind of keep it going, keep the assembly line going, so to speak. And you can do it any way you want, right? Like you can have your own style, meaning the way I do it is I complete the entire rig, put it in the package before I move on to the next one. But you can tie like 20 leads up, right? Just sit there and tie leads, tie leads, tie leads, and now you have them ready to make a quick rig like when conditions change, right? Let's say the water gets really dirty, you got a bunch of leads tied up, you can go put some orange or red or blue, purple beads, floats on them, and now you're ready for that darker water. Or opposite, when it cleans up, you take your leads and basically just put some hooks on them. That's what I was doing in the beginning. I was just tying a bunch of leads up and then adding jewelry to match conditions. The 100% easiest way to do this though, guys, is just to buy them. It really is. It's fun, it's entertaining. Like I said, it's a cool tool to have in the toolbox. But at the end of the day, spending like 15 or 20 bucks on some rigs isn't really that bad, guys. You don't have to deal with the labor or even like storing all that stuff. I go back and forth with it. I would say probably, I'm probably at like 50-50. 50% of the rigs I use, I'm getting from Frisky. The other 50 I'm tying. You guys keep an eye out on Frisky's website. He's got some new products coming out. You guys check out Brian over at Bird of Prey for the rig board or any kind of tying material, things like that. All right, guys, I got to go clock in. See y'all on the next one.